Is the province of British Columbia heading straight for a financial crisis? A new report just released just a couple of weeks ago from the Fraser Institute made the following statement. David Eby has accumulated more debt per person than any other premier in the last 50 years. So let's break down what that means and why it matters to every taxpayer in this province. So let's start with the report. This report analyzed per person inflation-adjusted, taxpayer-supported provincial debt. And it went from 1969 all the way to 2014. This means that it strips out population growth and inflation to get down to the real number. How much debt has the government added to the backs of every single taxpayer in this province? That's your back and it's mine. So the report clearly shows that David Eby is responsible for including and growing the debt more than any other premier in modern British Columbia history. In just 2 years, the debt grew by $2,612 per person, a staggering 44% jump, reaching $17,147 per British Columbian. To put it plainly, no premier in half a century has added debt this fast. And that includes not in recessions, not during inflations, and not even during the pandemic. Now here's some interesting facts. The second largest debt growth in British Columbia has been under the NDP governments of Mike Harcourt and Glenn Clark. And in contrast, debt fell under the leadership of Gordon Campbell and really fell during the days of the so-called Bill Vander Zalm. Even Ujjal Dosanjh, the once Attorney General turned Premier, was able to reduce debt in his short tenure as the BC Premier. So when people say everybody racks up debt, the data suggests otherwise, because some premiers actually reduced the burden. Now why should you care? Because debt today is taxes tomorrow. And that $17,000 per person isn't just a number, it's a bill. And your kids and your grandkids are going to be footing it. Higher debt means higher interest payments, less money for core services, and increased pressure on higher taxes. Worse, David Eby has been doing this with no major economic crisis. There's no pandemic, there's no massive recession. It's just runaway government spending. In my view, if David Eby is looking to leave a legacy, he's certainly going to leave one, and probably not one that he wants to be remembered for. He's well on his way to become the most aggressively accumulating debt premier in modern history. So what's the lesson here? Let's remember that government doesn't create wealth, it takes yours. And when there's no restraint, it's future generations that are going to pay the price. I think it's high time the voters hold our politicians to a higher level of accountability, not just for what they promise, but what they borrow for in our name. So thanks for watching this video. Look, I'd highly recommend that you check out the Fraser Institute's report on this debt. I'm going to leave the link in the comments. And while you're at the Fraser Institute's website, make sure you go check out other reports of major significance. And if you like this content, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can be informed of our upcoming videos. Have a great day.